Revit has a built-in rendering engine that you can use to create photorealistic renderings of your building models. There's definitely an art to getting renderings to look perfect, and there's lots of different factors involved in creating good renderings. That being said, I'd like to show you some of the basics to get you started, and you can fine-tune the settings and make adjustments on your own. First, let's pick a view to render. I'll use one of the camera views I created in the previous lesson. Next, I can click this icon here to launch the rendering dialog. So, the first option here is the quality. Right now it's set to draft, but there are a range of qualities available in the drop-down menu. The higher the quality, the longer it'll take for your computer to complete the rendering, with the best quality obviously taking the longest. Now, the time it takes to complete the rendering depends on how powerful your computer is, but typically a draft quality rendering takes several minutes, while a best quality rendering could take several hours. Next, we'll specify the output settings. I'm going to create a digital image, so I'll leave the output resolution set to screen. If you're planning on printing the rendering, you can change the option to printer. Under the output settings is where you specify the lighting. There are a few preset schemes, and they vary based on whether you're creating an interior rendering or exterior rendering. You can specify whether you only want natural light by selecting sun only, or if you have lighting components in your model that you want to illuminate in the rendering as well, you can choose sun and artificial. Artificial only means there will be no natural light and only your lighting sources will illuminate. I'll be using exterior sun only. The next option lets you choose the positioning of the sun. So I'm going to use a single day solar study. I'll choose summer solstice from the presets. And you can even set your location if you want using this browse button to launch a maps feature. You can click and drag the icon anywhere in the world to define the location, or you can enter an address. Once you've defined the location, you can set a date and time for the rendering as well, and the sun position will be accurate. Alright, so finally I'm going to choose the background settings, and there are some default sky settings with various amounts of cloud cover. You could choose a solid color, or you can browse for an image file. I'm going to use sky with a few clouds. You can also set the amount of haze. With the settings complete, just click Render and Revit begins creating the image. Like I mentioned before, depending on the quality, this could take a bit. I'd like to render a draft image first and see how it looks, and then I'll let Revit render a high-quality image overnight. Once the image is rendered, use the Export button to save the image file to your hard drive. And you can use the button at the bottom to toggle between the rendering and the model. You might need to practice a few times to get the renderings looking just right. Also, like we saw in the Customizing Walls lesson, if anything doesn't look the way you expect, you'll want to edit the element's properties and double-check the layers, materials, and their render appearance properties.